Alright, what's up guys? Right now I'm at Walmart just leaving. I had to pick up a gallon of distilled water, but for today's video we're going to be doing three things. First thing, installing a mechanical oil pressure gauge on the car, which is somewhere in this mess down here on my floor. This car is loaded to the brim right now with tools and parts. And then I guess the reason that needs done, the low pressure switch, which I just replaced a month ago, I mentioned it a time or two, it just exploded and blew oil everywhere. So I got a bolt in there blocking it off temporarily, but I want to get rid of it, put an oil pressure gauge in there. One, just in case the other switch goes, and I just decide to block that switch off instead of replacing it. I'll actually be able to monitor oil pressure. Two, I want to make sure this thing isn't running stupid high oil pressure because of a head gasket or something, and it getting too high of oil pressure. I don't know if a head gasket could cause it, but that's the only thing I can think of. So I want to be able to watch it. So, and plus this thing doesn't really have an oil pressure monitoring system. It has two switches, a low pressure, high pressure. Low revs monitors the low pressure one. As long as that switch is on, there's enough pressure to trigger it, you're good. And the high pressure switch, once you pass a certain RPM, it switches the higher pressure switch and it checks that one. If it's still on, or if that one is on when it's in the high revs, you're good. That's kind of how it works. However, with that low pressure switch off, I should constantly have an oil pressure light on when the car is on and running, because it's the one it uses in low revs. And that light's not on, so something isn't right, I'm assuming. So I want to get an actual oil pressure gauge. This thing should be running good oil pressure, especially if it had enough to blow the switch, but it's just peace of mind. So we're probably just going to mount the thing up here somewhere. So that's the first thing, oil pressure gauge. Next thing is going to be fixing the driver's side strut tower. We did the passenger side, which you guys saw a video on. We're going to do the driver's side. Not going to do a whole lot of actual filming on that, just because we've already done it once, and that one's going to be easier and less involved than the other one, so there's no point. But we're going to do that, get it all painted. I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup work on the paint job on the passenger side as well. And I got some undercoating. I'm going to pull both front struts out and undercoat them because I didn't do that before. I'm going to do that this time just to help prevent it from rusting all the way out again in the future. And once that's done, the exciting stuff comes. We're putting coilovers on this thing, finally. So I bought eBay coilovers. There should be an unboxing video of them up already. I'm kind of mixed up on video scheduling right now, so I got a video that has to come up before this video and the unboxing video, which I haven't even made yet. So my videos are kind of screwed up right now, but the unboxing video should be up, the one just ahead of this video. So if you want to see that, go ahead and check that out. But they're just eBay coilovers, like $160 on eBay. I had to buy. I go into the whole spiel, but I basically had to pay more for them because they were out of stock of the only color they sell a whole kit for. But anyway, that's what's going on. So I'm at Walmart, about to leave, about to start heading to Nate's to start working on this piece of shit. I'll probably be the only person there for a while he works today. We might have somebody else come over to help me work on it. But that's it. I'm going to let you guys go for now, and then I'll get back with you guys once I'm at Nate's house working on the car. Alright, so I am at Nate's right now, but I forgot to grab the fitting to put the oil pressure gauge on before I left my house because I'm a dumbass. So I have to drive all the way back to my house, come back here with the fitting, and then I can get started. So I guess I'll show you where the fitting goes. Oh, this light's gonna blink. You can kind of see down there where that bolt's at. The block-off bolt I put on is right on that, and that's where the fitting has to go. So you can see why I have to take the whole front of the car off to get to it. And the radiator has to come out, or at least be pushed forward out of the way, and the upper core support has to come out for me to be able to reach that. And then I'm just going to run it somehow up the side and then find somewhere up here to put. So I have to drive back, get that fitting, and then over here is a strut tower I need to fix. As you can see, this one's pretty rusty as well, and it's got a crack that kind of runs all the way up here. So I'm gonna have to remove all of this stuff, and there's not much down here in the way. I've got this little guy, got the coolant overflow, which I can just undo and push out of the way. I've got this thing, there's some stuff right here, wires and stuff, and then I'll just be able to start grinding and weld stuff in. At least this one, there's no rust up here that I can see at least, so I'll just have to start about right here, grind, and then back there as well. start grinding stuff, we can probably take a look and see just how bad it is from in here. Yeah, the crack runs all the way around pretty much, but it's not actually separating, so I won't have to use a ton of steel to fix this one. The only spot that's rusted out is right there in front of the spring. Everything else is in decent shape on here, so I'll just probably just grind until I hit solid metal over here and then start running strips down. And it looks like I'll hopefully be able to do the entire thing just... Alright guys, so I haven't been filming a lot. Like I said, I wouldn't do much for the oil pressure gauge and the strut tower repair. Well, the oil pressure gauge is in, I've started repairing the strut tower. Need to do some more welding down there. I don't know if I'm going to try and fill that hole yet, because the whole car would have to pretty much be torn apart to get to it, but battery's disconnected at the moment because I was using the welder. But there's the gauge right there, and it does work. I just don't have lights hooked up to it yet. But it's a pretty good spot for it. We did manage to get it through that really difficult grommet in the firewall, so it worked good. We tested it earlier. Also got my new shift knob on here because somebody chopped the shift knob on this car, and this is a weighted knob with this extension and a BMW shifter adapter on it. And the throw is absolutely massive on this car now, but this shifter actually feels pretty good. So and I can tell it needs new springs and bushings, so, but this was the first thing, so I don't burn up my synchronizers, was to get a nice long shift knob on it. So yeah, and one coilover is on the car. It's kind of difficult to put them on. This side's still not in, but the other side is in, so let's come look. Now these springs haven't settled yet, but that's about where it's going to be sitting. Probably a little bit lower than that once it's sitting all the way down on the ground. But that's not too bad for being small wheels and tires, especially compared to how high it is in the rear to how low it is in the front. And like I said, it's going to drop quite a bit once the other side is on and I have it sitting all the way down on the ground. And what I have to do to get these put together is I have to use the top caps from the stock struts. So as you can see right here, I cut this coil, which was kind of scary, but it worked. Then cut the strut, and then I took the piece of the strut because I couldn't get the nut off that holds the top caps on, and ground a side of it flat, stuck a crescent wrench on it, and then buzzed it with the impact, and was able to get the nut off to use the top cap for it. And I definitely need new strut mounts up here because these are loose. I might actually take the ones that came with the eBay coilovers, drill these out, and bolt them up here somehow. But I can't do that at the moment, so I'll have to figure something out in the meantime. But these should do the job eventually. But for now, that all should work. Or I might just look for aftermarket mounts or something, but I'm not too worried about that at the moment. I need to get finished repairing that strut tower, and then I need to get this other coil in, and I have a few bits and pieces that I have to put back into the front of the car because I put like the oil pressure gauge and stuff on it. Got to plug the battery back in, and I can drop this thing and then go on to the rear. And the rear shouldn't be too difficult. I don't think I'll be able to open the hatch with the battery disconnected right now, otherwise I would show you. But I do have the old, the new ones sitting over here somewhere, right there. So it's just got this one small nut on top, which I can stick a wrench on top of, and then another wrench there. Problem with the front ones is you have to put an Allen wrench inside of like a little keyed area, which I can show you. You got to put an Allen wrench in this keyed portion on top, that hole. And once you do that, you can't fit a socket on top of it to turn it. So I made a wrench out of this, and it actually worked quite well. Ruined a Harbor Freight socket and a pair of cheap vice grips, but this was able to reach in and get the socket once I buzzed it a little bit with the impact to get it up a little bit higher, and it worked. So and I wasn't willing to sacrifice a nice impact socket, so Harbor Freight socket it was. It's a 7/8. So Yeah, and update on the Mustangs, as you can clearly see, the engine and trans is out of both of them. I'll go outside later and show you guys the stuff, but Nate's V8 and T5 laying right here. His drive shaft, exhaust, and stuff's all back there. My 2.3 and my automatic, which I'm going to get rid of. That automatic is a piece of shit. I'm going to get rid of that, but it's technically mine. And this is the turbo coupe head on here, and apparently it's got a 2.5 camshaft in it. And that's the rest. Like, the head is all turbo coupe. The bottom half is all NA 2.3. So probably not going to run this block. The orange block with the filler in it, I'm kind of concerned about, because problem with block filler is the engines don't cool as well, and I'm not going to be making enough power out of that thing for the block filler to really help me out that much. So that block may end up having to get, I don't know, somebody else might have to take that off my hands, because it's going to be too much work to get that thing set up right. And I'm looking for something to be somewhat daily drivable, something that I can drive and not have to worry about it overheating internally. So, and then of course there's the nice stock block, I guess, the turbo block over there. But both cars have the engine trans out, so they've been working. They did those while I was at work throughout the week, so we don't have any footage of that, unfortunately. But now at least you guys know how that is coming along. They're sitting there. And we're looking at next weekend. We'll probably get around to getting the V8 in Nate's black car, and we will be sure to film all of that stuff. But pulling it out was we kind of just did a little bit here and there, so, and I wasn't here for a lot of it, and I'm the only one with a good camera to do this with, so we couldn't really film much, but that's where we're at. So I'm going to finish doing the strut tower repair on the driver's side, get that strut in, do all my nonsense over here to get, you know, the strut put together in the car, put the rest of the front end of the car back together, drop it on the ground, and see how low this bitch is. So the front end is done, the car is sitting on the ground, and before I show you, the jack is stuck under the front of the car right now. So it's sunk enough to get the jack caught underneath of the car. And this is the end result before these springs have settled in. So once they settle in a little bit and I get this jack out from underneath of it, it's going to be sitting at pretty much the perfect height. Not stupid low, but still very low. And you can see, I wasn't joking, the jack is caught underneath of the car. Fortunately, I have this jack, so I'm going to have to lift it again. Let's just go ahead and do this on camera. Since this won't take very long, I'll just have to lift it from the side and hopefully get the thing picked up enough to get the jack out. Wow, this thing barely fits down here anymore. I did not think this thing was going to go that low. Oops. But yeah, that is, hopefully I can get it out now. There we go. The jack is out. And, let's set her down. Oh, she went down kind of quick. I don't think the e-brake's up either. So yeah, that's a lot lower than I thought, but I really like it. Wow. And it just might, if I were to stick a shoe in there, will it stay? Ooh, barely. But the offset on these wheels is pretty weak, so that's where a lot of that is coming from. But yeah, that is crazy. Both sides are sitting at the same height as well. So, man, that made such a big difference. Standing next to it, the thing is sitting so much lower than it was. It's just weird. I don't know if the camera is doing like the height difference a whole lot of justice, but standing next to it, this thing is just sitting so much lower in the front than it used to. So now I got to go to the back and do the rears, and the rears just have one bolt in the bottom, one nut on top. Hopefully I can use those caps that came with those, but we'll just have to see. I'm not really sure what the mounts look like, and I still can't get back here. Now I got to push the car forward, but I'm pretty happy with that. I'm guessing I'm probably going to have to lift it a little bit once the springs settle, and it's going to sink some more. But I wonder. yeah, there's not a whole lot of play in the struts. There's some in the rear still, but the front is pretty solid. So yeah, now I'm gonna go back and get the rear done, and then that'll pretty much be the end of this video. I'll get the thing backed out of the garage, let you guys see what the car looks like with the coilovers all the way around, and that'll be it.
Okay, Jacob, what are you doing?
Well, I'm trying to weld this, but for some reason my ground isn't working right now. But I cut this open, pried it out to get that shock over there out and put the rice coilovers on. And now I'm welding it back in. And I can't seem to get a ground anywhere on anything. Let's try that. Please. Ha! No, I can't tell where I'm at though. These Harbor Freight welding masks aren't very good. Oh, for not being able to see what I was doing. I hit the bottom. Oh, I probably should.
I didn't know you had tow hooks on this thing.
Yeah, but they're rusted out.
Something.
Yeah. Something on fire up there? It's probably
You are right next to the gas tank.
awesome.
No, not awesome.
Where's my flashlight at? Where'd my telescoping flashlight go, mine? I had Jonathan's out here though. The red one. That one's disappeared.
Oh yeah, and that's where your filler neck is, so.
Yeah. Boom.
Yeah, let's try not to blow ourselves up.
What did I do with it? Because I could put it on the drill and clean those welds up really nice.
Can't wait to drop this thing on the ground and be like low light.
It was squatting pretty good up front. There's my wire brush. It went in my finger.
Take it. Take it in the finger. Take it in the finger.
That's not suggestive at all.
Take it in the finger.
It's nice having somebody else to film because I still don't have a tripod for that thing.
Thought about buying one.
You just buy one of those.
No, I mean the tripod stuff like that.
I have a suction cup mount though. That we can like stick on cars and shit.
Nice. I saw you mounted the camera on your dash. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, that's kind of there.
That
but
doesn't
not
even look
quite
that bad.
Not bad. I like the thicker stuff because I can just kind of go crazy on it. But I couldn't really see what I was doing. But since this is kind of an important spot, I want to make sure. When I did the strut tower, I didn't have my mask or gloves on. I just closed my eyes. Ground, you bitch! I fucking swear, Harbor Freight. Oh, that thing didn't break off. There we go. Ah, it's getting on my hand. Where's my glove?
Right here.
This thing sprays so much slag everywhere. Normally, you can get, if you're sitting above stuff, you can get away with it. Like underneath stuff, you can't get away with not having a glove. Always double glove. Double wrap.
Oh, you're good.
So I kind of veered off a little bit.
Give it some time to cool off.
What? You want it to get hot.
I don't want the fuel tank getting hot.
Oh, there's not that much gas in there. There's only like 5 gallons in there. It's only enough to burn the whole garage down.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Your Mustang used to leak gas all over the floor.
Yeah, but we weren't welding right next to the gas tank.
I was. Well, I mean, I was welding in the area. I'm gonna go again. Because that one kind of started good and then it went out. Because I can't see. Wow, that was really bad. I'm just gonna give up. That was really
As good
bad.
as it's gonna get.
Yeah.
What happens if that weld breaks?
The back of the car kind of drops.
And you get stuck?
Yeah. I like this water brush. It's fun.
Cool, I like this.
Now I need spray paint.
Hopefully we don't have to do this on the other side, but...
I'm planning on it. Because this car's a piece of shit. Ooh.
Ooh.
Paint on hot stuff, but it's running.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Stop, you're arousing me. Yeah, this paint is just kind of running all over the place at first. I don't want to get it on my brakes, but...
Aww.
Oh, I
You got it on that
sticker.
pretty, yeah.
Oh,
That
wow.
pretty eBay sticker.
Yeah. That's where the catch can came from, was actually. Yeah, let me fix it.
Same
Oh,
company?
Quality paint.
Quality paint, it's already stuck.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh, it's gonna be on there forever. You know what kind of shocks these were on this car originally?
What?
They were Bilsteins on here.
Huh.
They were old,
Are they the original shocks though?
probably. More than likely, I doubt anybody put Bilsteins on this thing. They're expensive. We are about to drop the rear and see how low this thing is.
How low does she go?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Something fell off the front of the car. We may have to go up a little bit in the back.
You don't have to go up.
No, the front doesn't.
Wheels if they scrape, who cares?
Yeah, but the front doesn't go that low. That's the problem.
Like an inch. You have an inch of play. That's it.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. Actually, they are pretty even front and rear, aren't they?
Yeah, they actually are. It's pretty nice.
I can't really see. I need to be able to like back up and actually look at it, but it's
You need
so
to go drive
low.
this right now.
No, it's not put all the way back together yet.
I'll back it up. We do. Crap. So one of two things has to happen. Either we gotta move all the cars right now, and I gotta hurry up and leave, or I gotta leave you my keys, and somebody's gotta bring me my keys.
For the Focus, I can bring them down when I leave and head back to my house.
It's gotta be before 9.
Yeah. There's stuff still under there, I think. Yeah, well, there's one.
You want to back it up?
The battery's disconnected because I was welding it.
I'll see you guys later.
See you, man.
Don't die. Have fun.
I had a crescent wrenches.
Because your car might disappear.
Oh, it'll just scrape and beach itself.
Send me pictures of that.
Beach will.
If I beach it, I will send pictures to everybody I know. It is stupid. It's sitting. I can't tell if it's sitting lower in the rear or not. I think it is. Yeah, I'm gonna raise the rear.
Measure it out a little bit here in a second.
Even though when it sinks, since the front's heavier, the front might sink to about even. But we will see.
The keys?
Yeah. Oh, hang on. I gotta turn the alarm off. Ouch! I gotta put the key in the door. And then the... There we go. Just don't swing out very far when you come back. Oh my God, that is low. That is so low right now. Holy shit. Oh, there is no e-brake anymore. I don't know, I think it's actually sitting pretty level. Like from the bottom of the car is. I think it's just a difference in the fenders. It's hard to tell because those rockers are so smashed. Alright guys, so it is now the next day and the car has settled a little bit, hasn't sunk too far, which is actually a good thing, but this is it in a bit different lighting. You can kind of see a little bit better where the height sitting at the front did drop a little bit, but it's kind of where I wanted it to sit. We ended up raising the rear a tiny bit because it was sitting a little bit too low back there, but right now it's sitting about perfectly level. The wheel gap's a little bit different in the rear than the front, but I think it's just a difference in like the fender flares that are on it. Like for some reason the rear end's shaped different than the front, or it could just be how buggered up the fenders are on this car, which is very likely. But it looks good, and it drove good all the way back to my house. And it should do even better now that the coils have settled a little bit. They should be a little bit stiffer and be a bit more proper, I guess, would be the way I would describe it. But they handled good. The new struts did good. I haven't had any issues so far with it. And we also did a couple other things. I don't know if we went over any of this at all, but there is a new shift knob on the car now, because somebody chopped the shifter, so it's a BMW shift adapter with an extension, 3-inch extension with a curve on it, and a new knob. And with this on here, we can definitely tell, like I'll put it in 5th gear now. There's a lot of play in these bushings, both vertical and side to side, so this shifter needs to be rebuilt. But with how short the throw used to be, it was really tricky to get it into gear, especially 1st and 5th gear. And the throw is a lot bigger now, so there's like right there's 3rd gear, 4th gear's all the way back here, but it feels a lot better. It's a lot more comfortable, and honestly I can shift faster and better with it like this than with the chopped handle and this little guy on there. And that knob is weighted, so it feels really, really good. Oh, and there's the oil pressure gauge we put in because I had a switch blow up. The oil pressure switch, the low pressure one, blew up, so I bought an adapter from 42 Draft Designs and then put this AutoZone gauge in there. I'm going to end up moving the location of that gauge because I actually hit my legs on it with it sitting right there, just a tiny bit. I might move it up to like up here somewhere or something, because I can almost clear my legs with it right there. So if I move it up here, it should be fine. I just wanted it somewhere where I can watch it and keep a good eye on it, and I don't have the power hooked up to it, so the lights on the gauge don't work yet, but I will get that sorted out pretty soon here. But it works good and it looks good down there, and now I can actually watch the oil pressure. So Coilovers, new shift knob, we fixed the oil pressure switch, and well, I didn't fix the switch. We got rid of the, it's just running no low pressure switch, it just has the high pressure switch on it. And yeah, that's pretty much what we did. The coilovers took a very long time to do, mainly because we didn't have, of course, all the special tools you're supposed to have. We didn't have a spring compressor. I didn't have the special socket you're supposed to have to take these struts off. Things are rusted, seized, you know, typical old car, rusted car problems you run into when you're working on this kind of a thing. But now it's done, it handles good, and this car is finally starting to kind of come together. This thing was running to the ground so bad before I got it that it just needed so much work. But it's finally starting to get to the point where it's been pretty reliable at this point, with the entire rear brake system redone, including some lines. It's finally got an exhaust, new shocks, springs, all that stuff. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and make sure to check back in with us regularly. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We should be starting work on the Mustang probably in the next few weeks. I'm not really sure exactly when we're going to get to working on it, but it should be pretty soon. Biggest thing we got to do is fix rust. So, yep, that's it for this video, and I will see you guys later.